So I went into Black Panther Wakanda Forever really excited because the trailers looked great, and I was really hoping for a good movie from Marvel out of Phase 4 since it's not been that great. And this is the last movie in Phase 4, so did it end with a bang or fizzle? Before we get into it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel for more Marvel reviews. And if you want to support the channel, check the link in the description below. You can donate and buy me a cup of coffee. Just to warn you, this video will have minor spoilers for the movie. Alright, let's get into my review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So the movie opens up with great credits tribute to the late Chadwick Boseman. The whole movie itself is really dedicated to Chadwick Boseman and the character of T'Challa. This movie is really about Shuri and her dealing with her grief after losing her brother, and the Wakandans dealing with losing their king and losing the Black Panther. So it's just a lot of kind of sadness undertones and a lot of grief that people are dealing with throughout the whole movie. At one point, Queen Ramonda mentions that she has given everything because she lost her husband, her son, and at one point in the movie she thinks she lost Shuri as well. It's a really powerful moment and it's a really great scene. And she's pretty much the heart of this movie, trying to keep everybody together while running a country. Angela Bassett does a great job in this role. She gives an amazing performance, and you get to know the character a lot more and really see how powerful and strong she is and how much she loves her family and her country. They do mention the events of the first movie with Killmonger burning all of the heart-shaped herbs and how that plays into this film, because Shuri kind of blames him for the death of T'Challa, because if they had the heart-shaped herbs they could have saved T'Challa, and Shuri's trying to recreate or resynthesize the heart-shaped herb, but it wasn't in time to save her brother, unfortunately. And so she kind of gives up after T'Challa's death, so the Black Panther mantle dies with T'Challa. So if you're somebody that thought Thor Love and Thunder was too silly and too goofy, like me, then this movie is the complete opposite. It's very emotionally heavy, and I'm not going to lie, I definitely cried a lot. It definitely deals with those heavier, more weighted emotions like grief and pain, and it's carried throughout the whole film, so it definitely has that tone. I think it's pretty well balanced. I think it could have used a little bit more comedic elements, but overall it is tonally different from something like Thor Love and Thunder, which I think is much better, and it's more of the direction where Marvel should be heading in terms of storytelling. The action here is done really good. There's about 4 big action set pieces, and I think they're mostly a lot of fun. And I think they're pretty well choreographed. A lot of fighting scenes going on, obviously with Okoye and the Dora Milaje and all that stuff, and I think that's done really well. The movie addresses how Wakanda is dealing with the loss of their king and what Wakanda's role is in the world. So the U.S. has decided to look for vibranium outside of Wakanda because Wakanda is not allowing them any access. And this search is what gets Namor involved into the situation. So Namor is pretty much an awesome character in this film. Tenoch Huerta is fantastic in the role. I think he does a really great job. He plays Namor with the menace and strength of the character. He's, they call him the Serpent God, and you can kind of see why, but he also plays that sort of heartwarming, caring side of the character as well, so he feels like a fully well-rounded character, which I think is great. The only problem I would say with him, he has the sort of classic cliche villain of you're either with me or you're against me, and he doesn't want to work with Wakanda to work something else out, and that's kind of a little disappointment, but I still think that's a strong character, and I think he does. This movie could really be called Black Panther: The Rise of Namor. He's really in it more than I thought he was going to be. And they do a good job giving the backstory of his people, the Talokan, how they were created, why they live under the water, and how Namor was born and all of that. So I think they did a really good job with that world building. And the Talokan people look great. They're blue when they're above water, and they're just normal skin tones when they're underwater. And it's really cool. They use, instead of fire bombs, they use water explosives, and just their fighting style and everything. and it just kind of feels like a underwater version of Wakanda in a lot of ways, and you sort of get that sort of reflection of the two societies. I think the contrast, compare and contrast, works really well in this film. We're also introduced to Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. She's going to get her own Disney Plus show, and she's a fine character here. She's mostly used for comedic purposes. It does remind me a little bit of the plot of Doctor Strange 2. The heroes need to protect the child from the villain that wants to kill them, but she's fine. I don't know if she's a super integral part of the movie, but it's a good character introduction for her, and she does get some cool moments as well. So the movie is quite long, and I was emotionally drained by the end of it. But the story, I think, is pretty well structured, so I don't really think you could cut anything out of it, really. But I wish maybe the pacing had picked up and we didn't have that somber undertone the whole time. And I think if anything could have been cut, could have been some of the Everett Ross stuff. I don't know that he was necessary for this film. It kind of feels like they shoehorned him in to set something up further down in the MCU. So you probably could have lost that there, but it was nice seeing him return. So in the end, Shuri decides to recreate the heart-shaped herb using something that Namor had given her, and in the end she restores the Black Panther mantle, which restores the spirit and the faith of the Wakandan people, and allows them to rise up against Namor's army. And I thought the movie was going to do something different in the end with the Black Panther and who maybe might have died, but they kind of played it safe, which is fine. But I was kind of hoping for a little bit more subversion in the end, but it still worked out pretty well, I think. So overall, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is really, really good. It's not one that I would rewatch a lot because it is kind of a bit sad and emotionally heavy. But everything with Namor was really great. The action was really great. There were some fun moments in it. So I do think that it is probably either the best or the second best of the MCU Phase 4 films. I still prefer Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, but this is definitely the second best of the Phase 4 films so far, and it's definitely kind of a more familiar return to what we expect from Marvel movies. I love seeing the aftermath of Wakanda and the country and these characters dealing with the death of T'Challa and the events of the first Black Panther movie. So I think this is definitely a solid watch. You should definitely go check it out. And I really hope we get to see more of Namor going ahead in the future. There is one end credit scene, which is basically an extended version of the very end of the movie that they just kind of chopped off and then put it after the first credits. And it kind of implies something maybe they could be doing with the Black Panther side of the MCU going forward. But it really just is kind of the final ending of the movie. It's not like anything extra. It doesn't deal with anything outside of the Wakanda characters. Alright, so that's my review for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And let me know what you guys all think in the comments below. Did you like it? Was it the best of the MCU Phase 4 movies for you, or did it let you down maybe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, Wakanda Forever. Bye.